Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I have here my friend Tina, and she's going to share a story with us today, too.
Yeah. Tina and Tina.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because when you asked me what story to share, I'm like, I have so many stories to share. But one that just kind of surfaced a couple weeks ago, which was pretty profound. I was meeting with a coach, and she said that she wanted to do this hypnosis session with me. And in the process, she said, I can't get a reading on you. Like, you will not go under. Like, there was some trust there. Or she said, so let's do something else. Let's just go back to your inner child. And are you open to doing some inner child work? And I said, okay, I've heard of this. I haven't really done it. Even though I've been coaching for years, it's not my thing. So she really helped me access that part of me that lacks trust. And she said, well, that part of you that's kind of holding back and doesn't trust people, if you had to give her a name, what would it be? And I saw like this seventh grade, this bully girl, right? I won't say her name because you never know who's watching anymore. But she was short, she was feisty, she was just in your face. And so I gave her that name. And she said, well, what is she protecting? And I listened and I saw this clown face. Like, she doesn't want you to be a laughing stock. She doesn't want you to be made fun of. And then she got me going to a situation where I was actually a bully. And this is a real story. I mean, this is like, oh man, talk about telling one on myself. But when I was 8 years old, there was a new girl that was in our school, and she was really pretty and athletic. And I felt really jealous and insecure that she was going to take my friends. And I remember she went home for lunch and she came back, and we had this gate. And I remember closing the gate on her face. And she had like lots of moles on her face and stuff. And I said to her, what happened to you? Did God put a screen over your face and throw shit at you? That's what I said to her when I was 8 years old.
Gosh.
And I remember the sadness in her eyes. And I remember as the words were coming out, I couldn't take them back. And I felt so bad. But it was done. The damage was done, and everybody was laughing. And I felt bad that people were laughing. And then she told the teacher. And the teacher came in and she's, who do you think you are? How dare you? And I remember just shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. And so when I had this hypnosis session, I realized that in that moment, it wasn't what happened or me getting in trouble. It's who I decided I was. I was bad, I was wrong, and I was mean. And so what happened was I started going through life overcompensating, being the opposite. Like, I'll never be bad. I'll never be mean. I'll never hurt somebody's feelings again. But then I saw as it started unraveling how that showed up in my life, where I say yes a lot when I want to say no, or I will like do things that don't honor my value, my worth, my time. But it was almost like this block that I couldn't see. But then when I saw it, I just saw the string of my life, my business, my relationships, everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been living this pretense, being nice, being kind, being overly compensating not because I was giving, but because by doing that, I was actually receiving. I was receiving validation. I was receiving that, like, am I okay? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. You're saying I'm okay? Okay, I'm okay. So that for me was a big realization. And then it just kept, like Tina, I mean, it just kept unraveling, unraveling. And I started seeing all of these other things and really seeing the impact of who I get to be now. And confident, powerful. I felt that way. I've done things that prove that I'm confident and I'm powerful, but they were coming from a place of, I really need to be nice. I need to be kind. I need to be so giving. And that's just not sustainable in life.
Mhm.
It's like, I was burning myself into the ground to be that person. And so now I'm in this inquiry, you know? Of real self discovery, not just saying I'm spiritual and doing the work, but embodying and taking the action. And it's really, it's uncomfortable.
It is very Okay, you have just said so many things that have mirrored my life so much. I used to be the bully and I had no idea. Well, actually, it wasn't like mean things that I said. I didn't want to go into the story, but we could just say it. Um, I used to be mean, I guess, to this guy in my class, and I would just push him around a little bit. I was a big 13-year-old. And I would just be like, "Hey, like, stupid, like, how you doing today?" Just, like, not, like, anything, like, very mean, but just, like, little attitudey like that, and I thought in my mind that we were always just joking around, and I thought that that was the relationship that we had, and then one day we graduated, and he was like, "Hey, why were you always so mean to me?" And it just broke me because I didn't actually realize that I was being mean. So, that I felt very mirrored in your story there, and then just I mean, everything that you're saying of how I also need that external validation so much, and, like, why am I so nice? My friends call me the nicest person ever, but it's like, "'Cause I need you to tell me that you love me."
Yeah.
Right?
And isn't that funny when we have these empowering conversations, how we're always being like, we're always mirroring back to ourselves.
Mhm.
And I don't believe that this conversation is by chance or it's divinely orchestrated, put on our path for us to see something in each other, to reflect. And I think this is the power in what we do and being able to share our stories because it's not just for the sake of sharing, but it's the sake of giving so that somebody else can receive.
Mhm. Because for me, my motto is that, what you see, you can be, I think people say, and if you can't see it, then you really don't know that it's there, and that's why representation is so important, and that is why on social media, I always choose to err on the real side, you know, posting crying videos, ugly videos, unfiltered stuff,
Yeah.
just so that little girls, because I was that vulnerable little girl and everything was perfection back then, right? Like
Right.
heroin chic was the look.
Right.
And it just broke me. So that's why I choose to be as real as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as my fragile self-esteem can allow.
Oh, man, it's so true. And I think for the longest time, I put up this strong, confident facade where inside I felt not as strong, not as confident, especially in certain areas of my life. And I remember just having a conversation with my coach, and people are like, "You have a coach? You coach coaches?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have a coach. Like, I wouldn't go through life without having somebody in my corner." But he said, "I've known you for 9 years, and every time we talk, there's a little bit of a guardedness about you." I said, "What?" I didn't see it. I'm like, "No, that's not true." But then other people started saying the same thing. So I had to look, if one person calls you an a-hole, thank them. If 10 people call you an a-hole, you better look within, saddle up, giddy up, because you probably are. So I was like, am I guarded? And then somebody else, yeah, my experience of you is guarded. Really? Then I started looking, and this is how this whole situation started unraveling because I thought, I need to get underneath this. What am I guarding? And, I am guarding that playful kind of inner child, the joyful, because I'm afraid, well, if I'm silly or what will people think of me? Will I be a clown? Will people laugh at me? Will people think X, Y, and Z? And I think part of living is actually having the courage to not care, not care about what people are thinking and being unconstrained and unstoppable in who our essence is, not the persona that we put on, the facade that we put on, but our real authentic selves,
Hmm.
you know?
But the issue with not caring is that it has to start with what is it called? The self-confidence or the knowing of who you are and everything that you stand for so that when these people are projecting themselves onto you, you're like, "No, that's not me. I I'm good." But how do you get that?
It's so gosh, there's so much funny synergies. Like when we talked about joy and creativity, I'm like, I just had a conversation about this. So now it's the message I'm supposed to receive again. But I think that inner knowing is taking time to actually stop long enough. Oh, we have a new guest in the in the
Oh,
seat.
okay.
Um, is taking the time to listen to that inner voice. And I think sometimes when we're rushing from here to here, doing, we don't actually stop and reflect on who we're being, who we get to be. And for me, that's the greatest gift that I've ever been given was the power to slow down. And I feel that it just happened the last year. I didn't know how to slow down. I didn't know how to operate at like single speed. And I say single speed intentionally because even when I read or listen to audible books, 1.5, 1.7 times speed, driving, I'm always driving over the speed limit. Like I'm always doing life at 1.5 speed.
Mhm.
And so when I learned to slow down, it wasn't easy because I thought, who am I without hustling and grinding and running? If I were to just be with me, I was like, I'm afraid. I don't know who that person is. So I had to be really comfortable with the unknown. And I had to be comfortable with really finding that essence because she was buried deep in my psyche. Like it was not safe to be her.
Mhm.
And you know, the first incident that I remember where it was not safe to be her is I was a boss. Like, I mean, no surprise, but in my neighborhood, I used to put on these plays. And I would gather all the kids in the neighborhood and we'd craft these really great plays and we'd invite our parents and we charge them a quarter and then we take the money and go buy popsicles and whatever. So I was organizing this and I was, telling people what to do. And I remember my mom's stepbrother was staying with us at the time and he must have overheard me being bossy or something like that and didn't like it. And he literally pulled me, and I know this is a little graphic, prepare, but he pulled me behind the shed and just started spanking me, like basically telling me that I was being too bossy and too loud and I was being mean and he was going to punish me for it. And it was in that moment that I was just like, okay, it's not even safe to be me. It's not safe to be bossy. It's not safe to express. It's not safe to do all of these things. And that was the first incident where I started becoming very submissive, especially in relationships with men. Just, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Yep. But it always felt so inauthentic. I'm like, that is not me. I felt it, but I didn't know what was preventing me from just standing my ground, being firm, standing in my power. I was just always dimming my light to the point where it got so dim that I didn't even know who I was anymore,
Mhm.
and then there was like this spark that was like gave me this little glimmer of who I am. Like, okay, man, if that's who I really am, that's scary. Like being self-expressed, standing up for myself, not being submissive.
So did you just start to follow the glimmers and like wherever you found creativity or that joy, like do you just go, okay, I go that way, I guess.
Yeah, it's intention plus action is results. So intention is my way of being. So when something comes up and I'm like, oh, this feels a little uncomfortable, it's action. I say, I am a loving, courageous, powerful leader. So I come from a place of love, courage, and power and action. And so when I'm not feeling powerful, the glimmer is, okay, wait a minute. Is that little girl hiding behind the shed getting her ass whipped? Like, is she really coming to the surface right now, or are you? But it's raising our consciousness and being responsible for everything that's happening in my reality. It's so easy to be in the situation, oh, I'm going to blame it on my relationship or blame it on my business partner or blame this on whoever, because it's easy to be a victim to our life. It's harder to be responsible but the life that I'm living is a creation of my reality, nobody else's.
Mhm.
And when you really get that and you embody it, there's a level of power that comes with me, where nobody can take my power away. And now when I catch myself giving my power away, that's another that's another thing, right? But nobody can take it.
Yeah.
And so seeing that I give it away and then asking why am I giving it away? It's just always it's a pattern interrupt every single time. And that's the work for me interrupting my own patterns and habits.
Because you can do all of the work to start on that new, different path, but your habits are still there. So you have to continually check back like, am I still on the path that I want to go, or am I starting to fall back into how I used to be?
Yeah, it's like I think of it as a 3-stage kind of process, right? So you become aware of the habits that are keeping you stuck. So you shift your habits, then you shift your behaviors, then you shift your being. And then it's like a constant process. You know, it's like, "Oh, I noticed this bad habit. Okay, shift that habit. Shift the beliefs about that habit. Oh, now I'm leveling up who I'm being." Then there's another level. "Oh, there's a new habit that shows up. Okay, shift that habit, shift the beliefs, shift the being." And so a lot of people say to me, "Man, you're not even the same person that you were a year ago." I'm like, "No, because this is not just my soul's contract to level up and give it away to others, but it's so embedded in who, like, personal growth is so embedded in my being that I can't imagine another way. I feel like it's my job to level up my soul."
Yeah.
Okay. I know it sounds kind of woo woo, but really it's just I learn, I grow, I give it away. I learn, I grow, I give it away. And I do feel that that's my purpose.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think I'm the same.
Yeah.
The same way. So what's the last bad habit that you caught and are working on or have already solved?
Oh my gosh, I have so many bad habits. Um, but the personal one is, so I 7 months ago I quit drinking. That was a bad habit because I was just, "Oh, I feel sad. Okay, have a glass of wine." And so I noticed that bad habit and I thought, "Okay, why am I stuffing my emotions? What is it that I'm not confronting?" So I quit drinking cold turkey. I'm like, "Okay, cool." The other bad habit that I noticed is that when I need to give myself attention, I would look externally, like dating and stuff like that, getting, attention from guys. I'm like, "Oh, I feel so bad about myself. Oh, let me go get attention from the wrong people." Then I noticed that bad habit. I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Until I get to the place where I have unconditional self love, when I don't feel reactive, like, oh, I need your energy. I feel bad about myself. I'm going to go rob you of your energy." Then, like, I'm not in the place to start dating. And now I'm starting to get to the place where, oh, okay, I see that habit. I'm transforming that habit. Now I'm not reactive anymore. I don't need anybody. I do want somebody, but not coming from a place of scarcity or lack. It's coming from, yeah, I want to share my life with somebody, but I don't need to. So that's the other bad habit that I've been transforming. Now I'm really committed to my health and well being. So that is just, I'm still working on this one, but I love the idea of love.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes binge watch like trashy television, like Love is Blind, Love Island. But I would literally be finished work, 6 o'clock or whatever. I'd have dinner instead of going for a walk or going to the gym. Like, oh, I'm just gonna like put this comfort blanket on and I'm gonna watch Love is Blind or whatever. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna deprive myself of that, but I'm gonna check in. Is this a reactive behavior? Am I looking to get something? Or is it just, no, it's a choice right now. So I'll read my books, I'll study my like Kabbalah, whatever. And then I'll be like, okay, now I'm just gonna watch it because I'm watching it, not because I'm filling a void. So I have lots of bad habits, but I'm consciously working on them. I'm a beautiful work in progress.
um, Pro tip, you watch Love is Blind at the gym
Oh,
or
good
like
one.
on the treadmill. It just makes the time go so much faster.
Oh, see, that's a great idea. I love that. Yeah, I try, and when I'm at the gym, I like the classes. So I'll go do spin or I'll do water aerobics, but I don't actually like do a lot of weights. That's a sidetrack, but that's a good idea. Maybe I'll
I
do that.
mean, you're a coach, so I respond to messages, emails, and stuff on the treadmill. Just take that 10 minutes or I don't know, 20, whatever.
Wow.
Do that on the treadmill. It doesn't have to be fast. You can walk. Yeah.
Okay. Adding it.
I do.
Adding it. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love this conversation because I feel like we've had such a mirrored journey. Because I think before we started recording, we were talking about how we're both lacking creativity and joy. And the journey is like discovering that. And that's just been it for me. I feel like this podcasting, interviewing people and listening to other people's stories, that has given me a lot of joy and helped spark my creativity too.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning into that. But um when you're like, do you get this when you like want to have fun and you like want to say something, you just have like this block and you're like, don't do it.
Well, I think that's why I was so comfortable with drinking because that fun part of me would come out when I'm drinking. Like,
Mhm.
no constraints, no restraints, don't give a F about anything, but now that I've not been drinking for 7 months, I feel like that part of me is coming out now. So when people say, oh my gosh, what, we're going to go to this event and you're not going to drink? I'm like, trust me, I have more fun now that I'm not drinking because that part of me is coming out. So when I feel myself holding back, I ask myself, why? What are you afraid of right now? And so I lean into it. It's out of my comfort zone, but I realize that it's out of my comfort zone. I'm like, are you going to die? And I see myself almost sometimes like, my friends brought over virtual reality glasses one time, and I'm afraid of heights. So here I am climbing Mount Everest, right? With virtual reality glasses on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. I'm looking down, I'm panicked, I'm terrified. Like, I can't. I take the glasses off. Meanwhile, I'm in my freaking living room on the floor. Like, there's no fear.
Yeah.
So now when I feel scared or when I'm thinking, oh, don't have fun, don't let loose, I'm like, okay, really? Take the virtual reality glasses off. What's going to happen? Am I going to die if I have fun? Am I going to make myself look? Nobody cares.
Mhm.
Nobody cares about me after I leave the room. They're not going to remember, oh, Tina was actually having fun. How terrible. And if they do, that's not on me, that's on them. So I literally vision in that moment, visualize taking off the virtual reality glasses. I'm like, okay, listen, you're in a simulator right now of, oh, I'm afraid to be free and unconstrained. Take glasses off, do it anyways. And so that really helps me because I get to laugh at myself. Just be, really? When did having fun become so taboo in my mind?
Mhm.
You know? And so I just notice the mask, I take it off, and sometimes I'll call one out on myself. I'll say, I really want to like dance right now. There's nobody on the dance floor. And instead of like being there by myself, I'll just go pull everybody up on the dance floor with me. 80-year-old women, like it's hilarious. Like, come on, I'll get the whole room going. And then I feel better because I'm not doing it alone.
Yeah.
I'm going to look silly. Everybody else can look silly with me.
Oh, I love that. I love the conversation. Thank you so much. I I think we can start to wrap up. Is there anything that you feel called to share with the audience today too?
Oh, let me think. I think for me, it's just being willing to be unstoppable in life. When you find yourself holding back or when you find yourself um, not embracing life and living life to the fullest, just ask yourself why. Ask yourself, uh, what am I risking by being this way? And if wherever there's a pattern, there's a story.
Mhm.
Be willing to go and look for what's the story? When did I make this decision that I can't do X, Y, and Z? And when we can be detectives in our own life and get to the source of it, we can rewrite the story. We can rewrite the narrative. And every day we have an opportunity to rewrite a story that's empowering. We can put those virtual reality glasses on to work for us.
Huge.
We can create anything we want in this simulator called life and be willing to write your own story, create your own narrative that's exciting and alive.
Mhm. And you're actually a coach, so you actually help people do this too, right?
Yeah.
So where do people find you if they want to learn more about you?
I hang out a lot on LinkedIn, so you can definitely find me there. Um, or Facebook, Tina Marie Brigley, Tina Brigley on LinkedIn. I have a new Instagram account now. We won't go into that story, but it's brand new. I think I have 146 followers right now. Went from 126,000 to 146, but it's perfect. It's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all over the place.
Okay.
Google me.
Your website? Yeah.
Well, my website is linked.coach.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's my business.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks
was
for
really fun.
inviting me. It's been really great. Yeah, I
I think
appreciate
it
it.
sparked a little bit of joy today.
Woohoo!
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the episode. If you live in Windsor-Essex County area in Ontario, Canada, then you should know that I host an open mic live storytelling event the last Saturday of every month at Aloe Lounge on Erie Street in Little Italy from 5 to 7 p.m. If you don't know what open mic storytelling is, well, I encourage anyone to come up and share their story. We have different themes every month. The event celebrates connection, our humanness, our emotions, our rawness. It gives us space to really express ourselves and to have people listen, because I feel like we don't really get too much of this anymore. It is essentially a gathering of the souls and sharing a little part of ourselves with each other, whether it be a funny story, a sad story, a happy story, a romantic story, any story that is yours, you can share. And I'm loving the community that is coming from this event. So come to the event. I hope to see you there. You can purchase tickets at www.talesofthetown.ca.